Hello and welcome! This character profile video is for the class Maegu. And what you'll see is all of her skills, the top 8 PVE and PVP skills that I recommend, her skill combos, enhancements, player card, and a gameplay video. So, without further ado, I am pleased to present to you the class Maegu. Here we go. And welcome to the skills slide. If you are new to my character profile videos, allow me to introduce the interface. On the left hand side are all of her skills. On the far right hand side is all the specials that go with those skills. And then the column CD is the cooldown for each skill. And charges is how many times you can use the skill. Hits is how many times the skill will hit a creature or player's opponent in the game. And the column damage-PVE is the highest percentage damage that skill will do against a creature in the world. And the column damage-PVP is the highest percentage damage that skill will do against another player's character. And of course you have the passive at the bottom. So just one or two things to say is in the special section, the words that are colored red means in the bottom left corner of this, it's not applied in arena. So when you're in the game and you're in the section for playing in the arena, these things will not happen for you, but everywhere else in the game, it'll work just fine. So just be aware of that. And I will cover the passive in the PvP slide of this video. So take a moment to look at everything here, and when you're ready, we'll move on to the next slide, which is the PvE slide. Here we go. And welcome. So what I've done is I've taken all the skills and I've organized them according to the column of damage-PVE, from the highest percentage at the top all the way down to the lowest at the bottom. And your highest damaging skill is Charm Sunflash. So if you're also wondering why there's a green box, it's because we can only take 8 skills into the game world at a time, and these are the ones that I recommend. Now, all the remainder of the skills that are not highlighted, I strongly encourage you to try out and see if you like them. But pay attention to Beguiling Aura. When you reach level 70, this unlocks, and you are able to heal yourself every 2 minutes, but at least you have a heal. And it's important if you're out there fighting and you are in need of some help, this will be very helpful to have. So take a moment to look at everything here, and when you're ready, we'll move on to the next slide, which is the PvP slide. Here we go. And welcome. We have a lot to cover on this slide, so let's go ahead and get down to the basics. What I've done is I've taken all the skills and I've organized them according to the column of damage-PVP, with the highest percentage at the top all the way down to the lowest at the bottom. Now, the other thing is everyone always asks me, what skills can I use that have super armor that I don't have to mess around with what you can and can't use in arena? And normally everyone has 3. There are some balancing and positive and negatives to each character, and I will point out what she is strong at and what she is weak at, or what they did less of with her. So for this, she has 3 super armor skills, and that is Charm Sunflash, and then below that is Charm Sky Pounce. So that's your second one, and the third one is Delusive Dash, which is right below that. So these 3 are the 3 that you have that you can use in arena, outside arena, and you wouldn't have to worry about a thing. So now that you know that, let's cover the passive. It is called Fox Orb, and simply you just need to use your skills here. Probably not the basic one, which is the Fox Spirit Charm Mastery one. I think it might apply to all the others, but use the skill. It will activate your passive for 20 seconds. And here's the reason why this passive is really built for damage, more than I've seen anyone. And that is reading to the right, PVP damage taken minus 1.5% for 20 seconds upon using skills, and it stacks up to 9 times. Below that is skill damage plus 10% for 20 seconds upon using a skill. Then skill damage plus 2% per skill use when the above effect is active. And it also stacks up to 9 times. You also get HP recovery plus 2% for 20 seconds upon using skills, and that stacks up to 9 times. Wow, I mean, geez, 9 stacks. And you get 300% explosion damage to one target 3 seconds after a hit. You have applying HP recovery minus 10% for 10 seconds to the target you hit. So they lose HP recovery, and apply PVP damage taken plus 5% for 10 seconds to the target on hit. So when you hit them in PvP, it's plus 5% more damage that they take. And damage against monsters, all monsters, plus 10% for 20 seconds. Now, that is all under the Fox Orb section. Below that, what also happens is you're activating Cloud Conceal at a 50% chance when inflicted with stun, daze, or knockdown, 60-second cooldown time. So if you're in PvP and somebody gets a drop on you and does any of those things, stun, daze, or knockdown, knock back, then Cloud Conceal kicks in. Well, there's a 50% chance that it will, and what it says is move after transforming into a cloud for 1 second, and invincibility while moving, and it's not applied in arena. So when you're out doing the world PvP that's not arena based, you will see that something will happen if somebody gets a stun, daze, or knockback on you and Cloud Conceal kicks in. I wish I could show that to you, but we'll have to do our best with what happens with Fox Orb. So I have a video that I'd like to queue up to show you everything I possibly can. So let's bring that up. Here we go. Okay, so what I want to do is bring up that passive list one more time so we can look at it. Here it is. For Fox Orb, I'm only going to be able to verify skill damage, the other skill damage, and the 300% explosion. I'm going to try the HP recovery, but you be the judge. So let's go ahead and get back and show you how those work. So first things first, and that is to just show you that the Fox Orb occurs when you use a skill. This is what it looks like. You can also see it at the bottom left corner, just above the fairy, top right. And we're at 3 and 4, and now at 5. So we'll just check the dots. Yep, we're at 5. Multiplier of 5, it goes up to 9. So we'll just keep going. And yes, you can refresh the timer every time you use a skill. So using your skills, it's gonna get up to 9. Oh, we have our first customer. We're gonna do this backwards, and that is 15,492. And did you see it? That little delay, and then it said critical. That was the 300 explosion. So we're showing you the most damage first at ×9 multiplier. See, 6k damage on him for the 300% explosion. Not bad. We'll keep doing this so you can get a good idea. 15, it looks like 15 to almost 15k is the damage at the ×9 multiplier. So what we want to do now is just let that timer go down and see what the damage is when it's starting out when you don't have 9 stacks. I mean, you always will have 9 stacks because you're gonna just keep attacking, but this gives you an idea of what the damage is when you just hit them and you don't have that support. So we're gonna creep in here and see if we can't pull one of them. There we go. Even sweared at me. Did you see that? Or swore. That doesn't help. It's critical. No numbers shown. Let's hit him. Yep, 12,949. So, what? 3,000 plus extra damage when you're at 9 stacks. Let's go ahead and hit him. Well, let's hit them both. We're looking for the numbers. There we go. Here we go, and let's just, yep, 12,952. And 5,000, what was that, 664? That's that 300% explosion damage. So let's go back to this and show you we did verify the skill damage, both of them. And we did show you the 300% explosion damage. So just remember, it's to one target 3 seconds after the hit. So you'll see the swirl around the character, and that's when you know that explosion damage is gonna follow. Now what I want to do is try to show you the HP recovery plus 2% for 20 seconds upon using skills up to 9 stacks. What I'm going to do is just beat up on people. I'll have no heals, no potions, and let's see if that HP recovery kicks in. Here we go. And I also want to take this moment to tell you that the rest of those things are PvP related, and the percentage versus monster damage, I really can't undo that and redo it to show you, so, well, it's there. So as you can see, I am literally just beating them up. I'm getting my stacks, and I'm not seeing my health bar increase. I'm seeing all the icons for my stacks and the explosion, but it's just not happening. So I don't know. I don't know how that HP recovery occurs, and I'm beating them up senseless. So I'll leave that to you to see if there's something I'm not doing, or if maybe it's an issue that needs to be resolved. But let's go ahead and head back. Here we go. And welcome back. So now that you know how the passive works and what it looks like and what you're looking for, take a moment to look at this slide, and when you're ready, we'll move on to the next one, which is the skill combo slide. Here we go. And welcome to the skill combo slide. So before we get into how this works, allow me to tell you where you can find it. So if you're in the game and you bring up the menu screen and look to the right, and you tap on this square that says skills, so tap on that, and now you're on the skills screen. And if you look towards the middle and down, you'll see a magnifying glass with a circle around it, and it will say skill combos to the right of it. Tap on the magnifying glass, and now you bring up this little window that says list of skill combos. So what I've done is I've just taken all that we have and put it on one screen for you to print out or put on another monitor and practice. Now if you do print it out, I highly advise print it out in black and white. It looks like it's really heavy on the color, and well, if it's your printer, that's fine, but if you're using somebody else's, black and white might be the best way to go. So now that you know where to find it, here's how it works. This is a recommendation to get you going from Pearl Abyss. In blue on the left hand side is the skill you would start with. So let's take Charm Moonstruck at the top left corner, and you would do that skill, and then the next one is Spirit Petal Storm. is the next one, and that is a combination, a 2-hit combo that you can perform. Now, I did tell you about positives and negatives for Maegu, and this is one of her negatives, and that is there's not a lot of combos to see or to do, and that's okay. It really is, because this is just a starting point of I have no idea what to do. Alright, I'll try these, and then as you get really comfortable with her, you'll create your own combinations and your own tactics on what works best. So don't be discouraged, just know that it'll eventually just be up to you on your playstyle, obviously. So take a moment to look at everything here, and when you're ready, we'll move on to the next slide, which is the enhancement slide. Here we go. And welcome to the enhancement slide. If you are not familiar with this slide, allow me to introduce the interface. On the left hand side is all of our skills. On the far right hand side is the branch damage connected to all these skills. And then there's 4 columns in the center. The going from left to right, the first one, second, and the fourth, I try to make things that benefit your character, Maegu. The third one is normally things that happen to the creature or the player's opponent that you are fighting. Sometimes it doesn't turn out that way, but that's the general layout of this. Now there's a lot of questions I want to answer that you may have if you're new to the game, so let's just say this. What are enhancements and how does that work? The enhancements are things that make the general skill better. For example, let's take Spirit Petal Storm at the top. When you do that skill, it'll tell you what it does in the skill screen. That's great. But if you tap on it to highlight it and you see these other little bubbles with icons around it, those are enhancements that make the skill better. For example, there's the one in the middle, a burn damage. So every time you do Spirit Petal Storm, you will burn your opponent for 60 damage every second for 3 seconds. And then the last one you can unlock is target move speed minus 5% for 10 seconds. So every time you use the Spirit Petal Storm, your opponent or the creature will be able to move 5% less for 10 seconds. But you need to unlock all these things. Some of them usually just take silver. You pay the silver and it's unlocked. Others have a red number next to it. And what that means is while you are fighting creatures in the world of Elion or Hadum, you'll get these books. And the books will be for your skills. So you'll get a Spirit Petal Storm book. You pay the silver to learn it, and your level increases, or the amount of experience for that skill increases, so you can get to the next level. And just to give you a rough idea of how that works, if it says, say, a number 2 in red, you may need maybe 2, maybe 3 books, and you'll be up to level 2 in that skill in no time. It's a guess. Don't quote me on that, but at least it gives you an idea of how many books you would need to find, and it is random on the books that you get. So ultimately, just play normally, receive these books, learn them, increase your strength of your skills, and unlock the enhancements when you can. Ultimately, you want to have all of it unlocked because it'll give you options on what you can do with Maegu once it's all unlocked, and that determines your playstyle. You will play differently than somebody else who plays Maegu because all of your enhancements are unlocked and you just have a different way of attacking people or going about fighting with her. Now, the last thing to mention is if you look at Charm Moonstruck and all the way over to the right where it says heal 75 HP per hit, the reason the word heal is colored differently is because it doesn't apply in Path of Glory. So everywhere else, when you unlock this, when you use Charm Moonstruck, she's going to heal herself for 75 hit points. Everywhere except Path of Glory. So just want to make sure you're aware of that. So take a moment to look at all this, and when you're ready, we'll move on to the next slide, which is the player card. Here we go. And welcome to the player card. It is like a baseball card. It is all the slides you saw before, except there's something new on this one. So let's go ahead and get to it and show you how it works. At the very top is the top 8 PVE and PVP skills that I recommend. And to the right of that is something new. It's called Immobilization. Anytime that one of your skills knocks a creature or opponent into the air, or back, or down, or stuns, bound, freeze, anything like that, your opponent or the creature needs to spend time to get back up and be ready to fight. And that is an immobilization. So for example, anything that your skill has for immobilization is green. Red, obviously you don't have it. And then the next column is how many of those immobilizations do you have. So let's take Charm Moonstruck for example. Look down in the skills section and go all the way over to the right where it says specials. So when you use this skill, it does forward guard out in the world, not in arena, and it will knock back on hit and knock up on the last hit. So these knockups and knockbacks are immobilizing who you are fighting, and you have 2 of them. So I highly recommend when you're fighting another player's character, you use as many of these that you possibly can, and I'll explain why as we get closer to the bottom of the player card. So you already know about all the skills. You just got through learning about the enhancements, and the legend for what's not applied in Path of Glory and not applied in Arena is there. And if you've been wondering what is forward guard and what is super armor, here are the definitions for that. Forward guard means that incoming damage will either be 0 or heavily reduced. Imagine an invisible shield in front of your character, and somebody's in front of you trying to attack you, but they're hitting the shield. They could be in front of you to the right or the left, but still doing no damage. But if they get behind you, then all bets are off and they do regular damage or damage to you. So that's what forward guard does for you. Now, super armor, this is a skill, or excuse me, this is a special that everyone who does PvP refreshes all the time, and here's why. This means that incoming damage will be reduced, and the effects that immobilize you, like stun, knockdown, freeze, etc., will not happen for a duration of time. If you and I were sparring and I got an immobilization in on you and you had no super armor at all, you're going to be knocked to the ground. I'm going to get 1 or 2 more hits, maybe 3, in on you, and that could really turn the tide of the fight in my favor. This is what people who do PvP prevent by always refreshing their super armor. Now, looking back at the immobilization section, if it were me, I'd be using Charm Moonstruck and Charm Sigil Shot, the first 2, a lot, because you're increasing the percentage of how many chances to get in an immobilization on the person you're fighting, and that one chance that their super armor runs out and you get in an immobilization and you'll see them fall to the ground. That is why it's important to know which ones have the most immobilizations I can use. So, now that you know how the player card works, take a moment to look at everything. The music is gonna change, where we go into a gameplay video and show you what Maegu can do. Here we go. And welcome to the gameplay video. Before we get started, let us show you where we're at. We're over here in Balanos, and we are at Kron Castle entrance. And we're here, well, because their CP is that low, 2,519, and ours is 9,920. I think our Maegu will be fine. So the way this works is we will use this auto path and have her fight for about 2, maybe 3 minutes, at which time we'll go to town. I'll give my outro and say thank you. So, without further ado, I am pleased to present to you the class Maegu. Here we go. And it's just about time for us to head back to town. There we go. So while the loading screen is coming up, allow me to say thank you. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you like these videos, please subscribe, like, let people know I am always making more videos, and there is always more videos to do. So you'll notice that this video is done with a Christmas theme. So what we'll do is put her in a pose, zooming in and out. Let's just find the right, yep, maybe zoom out a bit. Yeah, we'll leave it like that. And we always have her give a wave so we can check what that is like. So here we go. And of course, we do want to see what it looks like when she claps. Here we go. And you know, I think I'm going to zoom in at the end of this because it seems like her hair and her face is kind of bleached out. So, before we do that, allow me to say thank you. Thank you very much for watching this video, and you have a great day. Take care. Oh, way zoomed in. She'll just give a wave. Have a good one. Bye now.